Well, good evening, folks, or good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Quincy Kane here, and this is live stream number 67, I think. Keep forgetting to check the numbers on these things, but we're in the 60s now, so get out your surfboards and your old-timey cars and play your favorite Beach Boys tune and whatever else from the 60s you can think of. So that's where we're at right now. But we're in the upper 60s, so getting close to the 70s, so be ready for the disco era as well. But anyway, Stan, good to have you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. How's you and the family holding up? I know y'all were dealing with a little bit of sickness over there. Now Stan's commenting on what kind of guitar. He's got a Yamaha acoustic guitar and a Glary bass. Kind of interesting. I'm not sure if I'm that familiar with the brand Glary, and I might have only seen your bass once. I'm not sure that I have seen it too much. But cool. Stan, I'm going to get going in just a moment here and play a song for you. But yeah, I just thought we'd have a fun hangout during this stream. And sometimes, Stan, you'll have to let me know if you're like this at all. But I can say as a guitarist, first off, I am a bit of a minimalist. Like, I'm super content with just, like, this one guitar is enough for me right now, you know? Like, I don't need anything else. But from time to time, I do like to fantasize a little bit, and I do kind of like looking through a guitar magazine and just kind of gushing over some of the beautiful instruments. So I thought that's kind of what we do today. If we can get kind of a chat going here, we're going to check out some guitars online and just have fun kind of looking them over, talking about them. Maybe we'll have a vote and see like what our favorite is, what's the top guitar, you know, and maybe we can even find, you know, our own guitars. Like if you've got a certain guitar, we can try to look it up and see if we can find it on the website. I got you. Stan saying it's kind of a company for beginners, but that's fine. You know, there's a lot of different brands out there, and I think the way it kind of works is there are those established brands, you know, like your Gibsons and your Fenders. Those are like the big brands, and they've established the name. And the only problem with that establishment is that sometimes you're paying for the name more than the instrument. Like, sure, you're paying for a good quality instrument, but you might be paying a little extra just because of the name attached to it. Whereas there might be other brands that are just getting started and they're building guitars. And one advantage to newer brands is that oftentimes they have to sell their instruments for a more affordable price in order to sort of compete with the top brands, you know? So in a way, you are paying for an instrument that is likely just as good, if not better, than some of the top brands. But the difference is you're getting a better price on it, you know, or a more fair price. And so I think there's kind of a chain there. And then you've got like your mid-range brands, the ones that are kind of like, you know, they're not as big, they're not on top, but they're not like new, unknown names anymore. And so they've probably kind of settled into sort of a comfortable price range. But cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and dive into a song here while we're waiting for more people to show up. But if you're just joining us, don't be shy. Say hello and leave a comment. Let me know, do you have a guitar? And if so, what kind of guitar do you have? I'd love to hear. And if you don't even play guitar, just let me know if you do play an instrument, and if so, what instrument you play. We're going to dive into this first song. This one's called A Place to Call Home. Oh, man, I just thought of a good setup for that. I should have said, since we're talking about guitars, this is a song about Guitar Center. This is called A Place to Call Home. But, all right, here we go. Inside of me, concealing what I believe. The potential is obvious, but I'm too scared to set it free. We break down the walls, show me your heart. This is the place where I fall apart. You told me a place to call home, someplace where I would not feel alone. I'm promised a destiny, but I won't trust what I cannot see. Some mother will tuck me in to this coffin and bury me. Break down the walls, show me your heart. This is the place where I fall apart. You told me of a place to call home, someplace where I not feel alone. You showed me love that I never known. You told me of a place to call home. You told me of a place to call home, someplace where I not feel alone. You showed me love I never known. You told me of a place to call home. Thank you. All right. Sorry, backing track going on without me. Has a tendency to do that. Let's see here. Stan saying, I also have an Epiphone Les Paul electric. That's right, I do recall you having one of those. Nice, sounds great. Thanks, Stan, I appreciate that. Kelly's still down. I'm a little sniffling, and Logan's doing great. Well, that's good. And hopefully the sniffling you've got is, something else. Hopefully it's not COVID related. But cool. Stan, just to share some exciting news with you and anyone else tuning in. So I'm hoping I'll sing okay this stream. But I actually recorded vocals today for the song Erase Myself. And so I'm pretty excited about that. I've been working on that song this week. I finished recording the guitars, so I got new strings on my guitar, so they sound kind of nice and fresh and bright. And they're actually pretty cool strings. It's too soon to judge them for sure, but I'm trying out a brand called Horizon Devices. If any of you are familiar with the band Periphery, and the members of the band, Misha Mansour, they've got their own guitar company called Horizon Devices, and they make pedals and strings and guitar accessories and things like that. And so they actually have their own set of strings, and it's known as progressive tension. And so the way that works is a lot of times when you buy a set of strings, there's almost these sort of established gauges for each string. Like if you play in drop C, this is the gauge for the low string that you need, and this is the gauge for the high. And they kind of just questioned that a little and thought, like, why? Who decided that? Why is that? Maybe there are better ways to string up the guitar. And so they did a lot of testing and tried out some different things. So basically the way this works, you've got some pretty heavy gauged strings on the low end where you want it nice and tight and chunky. But for the high end where you might be doing more solo play and string bending, that kind of thing, you've got some slightly lighter strings. And so they do feel, I mean, they feel fine, but it is a little noticeable, like I'm used to having just very thick strings kind of all the way through, and so having the last three strings be a little bit lighter is a little weird to play and stuff, but, you know, it's not like, I can get used to it, I know that. So that's one thing, but as far as I can tell, I was tracking this week, and probably the most headache thing is, well, it's two things, tone and tuning. Tone and tuning, those are the two things. So the first thing is tone, how do they sound? And thankfully, these strings sound quite good. In fact, I'm getting a better impression from them than the last time I changed my strings. I remember the last time I changed my strings, I was kind of surprised. Like, my palm mutes just sounded kind of muffled. Like, it almost sounded more like a fuzz tone. It didn't have that nice, chunky, metallic sound that I like. And these definitely have a nice chunk to them. I'll demonstrate real quick. So I'm pretty satisfied with that tone for the most part. But then the second thing was tuning, and I was a little concerned about the tuning, you know, with the strings being, you know, kind of a little experimental. I wasn't sure how well they would stay in tune, but I mean, as soon as when I would go to record, I would get them in tune, and then they pretty much stayed in tune, you know, for the rest of the recording session. You know, very rarely did I have to, go back and change the tuning again. Now, some of that might be me just learning how to better tune my guitar. Now, you might be saying, tune your guitar, isn't that like a beginner thing? So when you're tracking guitars, tuning is like such a noticeable thing. Like, you want every section. The truth is, guitar is not a perfect instrument. And even if the tuner says your guitar is perfectly in tune, sometimes it won't sound that way. So I've recorded songs before, and it's been such a headache to see that my guitar is supposedly in tune, but when I play the chords, something sounds off. Something sounds kind of noticeable, and it just doesn't sound pleasant. And that was such a irritating thing for me to deal with. Now, I've since learned how, like, the best way to tune my guitar. It's kind of funny. I don't tune all the strings perfectly. I tune everything perfectly, or I should say I tune the C string, which is the middle one, and the two high strings. I'll get those in line with the tuner, but for the low string, I actually don't even look at the tuner. I just use harmonics. So for the low string, I'll do this. So I pick the C string, and then I play the harmonic on the 12th fret of the low string. And I just try to get those two to match as best as I can. And usually if they match, they'll sound pretty good. And then the second string and the fourth string, or, you know, if you look at it the other way, I guess that's the third and fifth string, but, you know, whatever. I actually tune those strings a little flat, just like a hair flat. And for some reason, that seems like a good overall tuning. Now, sometimes in recording for certain sections, I'll be a little more precise. Like, I'll play what I'm playing, and I'll make adjustments to the tuning just to get it sounding right for that section. But, yeah, tuning can be kind of a headache when you're recording guitars. But these guys held up pretty good. So far, I'm quite liking these strings. I'd say the last thing to check is how long they last. In fact, looking up reviews, there were a few people that kind of seem to imply that, yes, the strings sound good, but they don't stay that way for long. So we'll see how long they last and how long they maintain their sound and how long they maintain their ability to stay in tune. But anyway, I got the guitar trackings done, so I'm super psyched about that. I still have some editing to do with the guitars, but it's just nice to have that done. And then today, normally I wouldn't do recording on Thursdays, and especially vocal recording, since I have the streams in the evening. Like, I don't want to blow out my voice recording and then have to perform for the stream. I mean, worst case scenario, I could just do instrumentals, but today, like, it was just going to really help me. If I could get the recording done today, that was just going to kind of get me on schedule, you know, keep me from getting behind. And so I kind of made an effort to do it. So sure enough, I showed up here at the church a little bit early and got things set up and had a recording session, and it went well. You know, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. The way I record vocals, I'll usually do just like 3 long takes, just of me singing through the whole song, and then I'll go back through and I'll try to punch in at certain areas just to make sure I've got something to use. And then later I'll go through and I'll edit and I'll just pick the best takes and kind of stitch them together into a proper take. Hey, we got Adria joining us. Hi, Quincy. I'm glad to catch you. I can't really hear what you are saying because my son is right next to me playing drums. Yeah, that would be hard if someone's playing drums and you're trying to hear. Let me make sure my mic's coming through all right. As far as I can tell, I think the signal's coming through. Sometimes my preamp can kind of short out a little bit, so I hope I'm not too quiet. But Adria, glad you can join us. And, I was actually asking, so today we're kind of hanging out. We're going to check out some guitars in a moment here. After I play another song. But I was just saying how I'm kind of a little bit of a minimalist when it comes to things. When it comes to guitar, I'm very satisfied and content with the guitar I have. I don't need another one. But there are times where it is fun to open up a guitar magazine and just kind of fantasize and kind of gush over some of the instruments. So I was asking the chat, if you play guitar, what kind of guitar do you have? And if you play another instrument, what kind of instrument do you play, So it sounds like your son is playing drums. What kind of drum set does he have? And yeah, if I recall, I think you're fairly new to guitar. Am I remembering that correctly? I think you're kind of starting to learn how to play. And so yeah, if you have a guitar and if you're playing, what kind of guitar do you have? And I was just sharing some news. I actually recorded some vocals today. I'm going to be releasing another song. I'm working on the next song to release. And this week I've finished recording the guitars. And today I just recorded vocals for it. So normally I wouldn't record vocals before a live stream, but I kind of did it just to sort of stay ahead of schedule. Or, well, I don't know if I'm ahead of schedule, but to not get behind schedule. Let's just say that. So PRS Custom 24. That's right. I remember commenting because I like PRS as a brand. So that's pretty sweet. That's a cool guitar right there. I'm playing a Schecter Hellraiser Solo 6, which is kind of funny. Fun little fact for you. So, the short story is when I got this guitar, it was actually a birthday gift through the family and stuff. Back around 2010, 2011, there was some kind of a bit of a not sure what the word, like an economic drop a little bit, and my family was going through some financial issues and we lost our home. And so I had just graduated high school and my family had to move in with my grandmother and I moved in with my sister and her husband. And so things were a little tough financially, but that year for my birthday, I opened up this card and all this cash came out, way too much cash for a birthday card. And I was so confused, why is there this much money in a card? And it was just a note from my mom and dad just kind of saying how proud they were of me. And they said the next day, tomorrow, Dad's going to take you to Guitar Center to pick out a guitar. And before, I had actually seen this guitar. They've got a room there called the Vault, and it's just got some guitars in there. And this one was in the center with this spotlight coming down on it. And I remember thinking, man, if I ever got a guitar, that is a beautiful instrument right there. I think I would get that guitar. And so sure enough, when they took me to town, I knew which one I wanted to get. And we had a look at this guitar, and we were pretty much pleased with everything. The name was technically it's called a Schecter Hellraiser, and the name was a little. I don't know. We weren't too big on the name. So it's actually kind of funny. It used to say Hellraiser here, but I used some rubbing alcohol to kind of, rub that off and stuff. But either way, it's a beautiful instrument, sounds good, and it's been faithful for me. So this is technically my first guitar, believe it or not. And so far, it's the only guitar I need. Maybe later, I might invest in a good studio guitar or something like that. But right now, this is plenty good to get the job done. So that's kind of how I got this instrument. But it's Schecter is a great brand. They make, I haven't checked really their prices as of late, but certainly back at the time, they just make really good quality guitars for very affordable prices and really pretty looking guitars too. So it's I don't know, just really good instruments. So I'm a fan of Schecter. They've been good to me. Thanks, Adria. I appreciate that. So got guitar tracking done, got some vocals done, and we're going to look at some guitars in a moment here, but let me go ahead and play another song for you guys, and then we will do that. I'm actually going to play an instrumental, so give me just a second to get it set up, and we'll be good to go. Anyone who's just joining, don't be shy, say hello, and let me know, do you play guitar, and if so, what kind of guitar do you have? And if you play a different instrument, what instrument do you play, and what kind of instrument do you have? With that said, here's another song. Let's see. Let me get my mic set up, even though I don't need it. This one's an instrumental. Just going to do a little guitar picking for you, and then we're going to have a look at some guitars. And, actually, if you have some favorite guitar brands, leave a comment. What are some of your favorite guitar brands? Because we'll check them out. I'll share some of mine, and we definitely want to check out some of your favorites, too. So, all right, here we go. Thank you. Well, Adria, how's your week been so far? Hope everything's going all right. Ooh, sounds amazing. You rock, Quincy. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's a fun one to play. I barely got by the solo. I was a little worried that song's got a tough solo in it, and I haven't practiced it in a long time. So I was like, I picked out the song, and then I realized like, oh wait, I haven't practiced that. So try to squeeze in as much preparation as I could before the stream. So I think I managed to get through it okay. But but awesome. But yeah, hope you've had a good week so far. Stan, hope you're still out there. I know sometimes there can be connection issues and stuff, but I do think we're gonna dive into some guitars here. Great, thanks. Yes, it does. And awesome, cool. Good to hear it. All right. Let's see here. Let me get the screen set up real quick. Here we go. So first off, let me just say, if ever any of you are looking to buy instruments, I really do recommend the brand Sweetwater. Sweetwater is my favorite music brand because they've just got really good customer service. Like they'll really set you up, they'll really take care of you, and yeah, they're just like once you kind of buy something from them, it's a pretty nice experience. So whenever I get any musical gear, I definitely try to get it from Sweetwater, and I have no affiliation with them or anything. I'm just a fan of them. So that's where we're at. We're at sweetwater.com right now, and I've already got the guitar section brought up, but I'm going to use this filter just so because I mean let's see how many. There are 3,000 products. That's a lot of guitars to look at. So we're going to try to kind of filter things out. Stan says, yep, cleaning up my dishes. Yep, that's a good thing to get done during the stream, that's for sure. While you're listening, you can just, get some passive activities done like dishes and things like that. All right, so we're going to have a look at some brands here. If you have any favorite guitar brands, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and pick a few of mine. I actually do quite like PRS, and I know Adria has a PRS, so we'll go ahead and pick that one in just a moment here. Let's see, going down the list here. Let's see. ESP is all right. we'll grab ESP. We'll check that out. Oh yeah, I forgot the page is going to refresh each time I do that. So, all right, continuing to scroll down, if this will work. All right. Ibanez is all right, but I think I'm going to leave them out for now. But they can make good instruments. I do like Jackson's, though. And I know hopefully Daniel will join us later because I know he plays Jackson. They make some pretty sweet guitars. Let's see what else we got here. Going down. There's PRS. Yeah, we'll grab those. Did I get it? It should be refreshing. Cool. Yep, Stanley said Gibson. All right. It's kind of funny. Yeah, there we go. All right, we got Gibson. What else we seeing out there? Adri says, trying to learn The Other Side from Red Sun Rising. Nice beginner song for me. The bar chord is killing my fingers right now. Oh, yes, love Sweetwater. Yeah, Sweetwater is a great brand. And awesome. I'm not sure that I'd heard that song before. I'll have to check it out. But it's definitely nice when you can find like songs that sound good but are also kind of easy to play. You know, that's really satisfying as a beginner, so that you're not just kind of forced to play something that's sort of simple but not very nice to listen to. I thought you were doing a great job with that Nirvana riff the other day. Drawing a blank on the name of the song, but the Schecter. Got to go with Schecter. Let's see. Yeah, I'd like to get a standard Epiphone soon. It's so light. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I have to go. My daughter's softball practice. I'll watch the rest of this later, though. Hey, Adria, I appreciate you stopping by, though. And I hope softball practice goes well. And, keep sticking. You're doing great with your guitar playing, so keep sticking with it. Keep working on it. And awesome. Yeah, thanks for tuning in for a bit, and hope you have a great rest of the week. So take care. Let's see here. What other brands do we want to go with? Strandberg's kind of cool, but I'm not too worried about picking that. All right, I think I'm going to go with that. I think, unless anyone else has any other suggestions, I think those are my favorite. I'd probably say are Schecter, PRS, and Jackson. Those are like the three main ones. ESPs can be pretty cool too, and then we've got Gibson on here. So let's go ahead and scroll through and let's have a look. These top three, pretty nice. I think these are all Gibsons. Yep. If I had to go, Stan, if you had to pick one of these, which one would you want? I'm kind of torn. I kind of like this orange one, but that like brown one is kind of cool too. Like I like the. Normally, I'm not like a big fan of brown, but I like the like that faded effect. How it goes from the light tan color into the dark brown edges. Yeah, I'll be sure to look up that song. Stanley says doesn't have a lot of experience with different electrics. Well, let's see if I can fill you in. In my opinion, again, I've only had one electric. I've certainly had friends who've had electrics. I will say this: Jacob from our church, Jacob Dunn, my brother-in-law, he used to have a Gibson. And it is a really nice guitar. Gibsons do make really nice guitars, but they also make $3,000 guitars. So it's like I kind of think I'm not like the biggest. It's not that I don't like Gibson. I actually think Gibson makes some pretty great guitars. And actually, this first one's a PRS. My bad. Sorry about that. I was calling that a Gibson earlier. Gibson, and I mean, just look at the price difference. These Gibsons are 3 times the price of this PRS. So. But Gibson, they do make nice guitars, but I just think you're paying for the name a little bit. And Gibsons are kind of Gibsons are very popular, and I like finding unique stuff. Like every guitarist has a Gibson, so I'm like, I want to play something that's not what everyone else has. So that's kind of my take on it a little bit. PRS. One of my favorite bands is Between the Buried and Me, and they tend to play PRSs, so they're kind of a favorite of mine. Here's a few more Gibsons down here. These are pretty nice, kind of like this yellow one. The pick guard, I like it for, like, I like that classic look, but, you know, I wouldn't use that for metal or something. If I had, like, I don't know, kind of an alternative rock band or something, I might play a guitar like that. Um, Stan, if you see any you like, let me know. A couple other Gibsons. This is, what is this? Oh, this is a PRS. Kind of has a Fender look to it, but I actually like that. The pink, that's kind of cool. This is a great guitar right here. This body, I don't know what you call it, but I think Fender made it first with this white pick guard and then the colored body. But again, it is kind of like a classic look. But I would use a guitar like that for punk rock or something like that. Let's see. Oh, you know who else played PRS? Chevelle, because I think he used to have one kind of like this. I'm not sure. I don't think he still plays PRS. I think he actually. That's one thing I will say. I think he played PRS for a while, and they just would not give him like a brand deal with the guitar. So I think he plays a different guitar brand right now. I'll have to look that up and see what guitar brand he plays. But I remember back then he played PRSs. Let's see here. A couple classic-looking Gibsons. There's the popular Gibson SG. Now, Jill, my cousin, and Stan, you know her, part of our praise team at our church, she actually went to, where was it? The Earlysville Exchange, and found a knockoff SG from a brand. I can't even remember the name of the brand. And the guitar was only selling for $75. And she sent me a text like, you know, should I get this? And I didn't want to tell her too soon to buy it because I didn't know. There's a lot of knockoff Gibson SGs, and some of them are good, and some of them are, you know, just cheapo crap guitars. And so I wanted to make sure it was a solid guitar. And from some research, it sounded like it was actually a pretty good guitar. And so $75 would have been really, really good. But unfortunately, by the time I texted her, some other guy was looking at it and ended up buying it. So unfortunately, she wasn't able to get that. So I'm hoping someday, Jill can get an SG. I like the shapes of Gibson and Fender. Yeah, they do have nice shapes. There is a shape. Let's see here. I do like this PRS shape though. Like this a little bit, and there's some other guitars a little more similar to that. Like even my guitar, my Schecter, the body is a little more similar to these Gibsons, but I'm sure we'll come across. There is a guitar body that I quite like, and I'll point it out when we get to it. That black SG is pretty cool. Usually you see that classic, you know, red cherry, but the black looks pretty cool. I like the look of your guitar too. It's like Angus Young. Didn't Angus Young play an SG though? I thought he did. I mean, sure, my guitar color is similar to an SG, but the body is almost more similar to like the Gibsons and the PRSs that we're looking at right now. Because yeah, I thought Angus Young played, you know, this kind of guitar with this shape. But maybe I'm remembering that wrong. Here's another PRS with that kind of Fender body. I think I like more. If you're going to go like a solid color, I want something that kind of pops. So even though I like blue, this is a little too muted for me. It would need to be like a more bold blue. What else we got here? Here are some ESPs. This one right here. That's kind of cool. Just sort of I don't know what you call that. Kind of like charcoal metallic kind of color. I like that. The color of that Gibson right there. That's pretty cool. Now, I don't know what you call this, but you can see it on this guitar here. See how it almost has that like watery effect? I love that look. And that's kind of what my guitar has in red. I love that with blue, though, because it looks like water, and it's awesome. All right, here we go, getting into some Jacksons. Jacksons, they just make like that just looks like a solid guitar right there, you know? Like, that looks like you could play some metal on that. And the color might be a little, like I do like that color, but I tend to like, you know, as much as I like black when it comes to guitars and stuff, I do like something a little more, with a little more pop. So let's see here. That's almost similar color to my guitar. What else we got? Here we go. Like that green right there, that's cool. That's a cool PRS right there. This guitar, this is Mark Holcomb's signature guitar. He's one of the guitarists in the band Periphery, the same band I was mentioning earlier that has the Horizon Devices strings. This one's pretty cool. Waiting to get to like Schecter. Here's another Jackson right there. I know Daniel's got some V-necks. V-necks can be kind of a little... they can be kind of hit and miss for me. Like this one's a little too extreme. I can't. The one Daniel had in his video, he's got one that's like a reddish or pink color, something like that, and that one's pretty cool. These ones can be just a little too extreme for me. Stan, what about you? Are you a fan of these V-necks? Would you rock one of those? And I hope I'm saying that right. V-neck. For some reason, that I feel like that's. I know it's a V-shaped body, but I don't. I don't know. We'll see. All right, that's kind of cool. That sort of walnut color on that that SG right there, and I kind of like that PRS as well. Blue, that looks pretty good. That's more in line with the kind of V-neck. I'm not sure that I like the point. I think I like kind of a more rounded, point or whatever. That's pretty nice. There's a Schecter right there, and I do quite like that body. Again, this was sort of similar to the Jackson we saw earlier, but that kind of guitar body right there, that's sort of more in line with what I originally wanted to get. Let's see here. I like the color of Luke's guitar, that metallic. I'm trying to actually remember what his guitar looked like, because he got like 3 guitars at once, so, so I couldn't, I remember he got a Gibson and then ended up taking that back. I know he had the red and white sort of Fender, kind of like this one here, but it was red and white. And then the guitar that I think he played more often, drawing a blank on what it looked like. But so Stan, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I've got a friend named Mark, and he actually bought the guitar that I originally wanted. I was already eyeballing Schecters back in the day, but Schecter has a guitar. It sort of has a similar body to this, but it's a dark blue, and it has kind of this same effect that my guitar has, that kind of watery effect. And I love the way that looked because it reminded me of water. And so I was just like, man, that is such a cool guitar. And next thing I know, my friend ends up buying a guitar like that, and he's like, I just liked it because it reminded me of water. And I was like, oh, that's why I wanted it, So when I had to get my guitar, I couldn't get a blue one because my friend already got one. So then I found this Schecter in red. And this one's got like little crosses on the neck, and the red and the trim around it kind of makes me think of like the Crusaders or something. So, so this was a good like next pick, and I love this guitar, but I still want to get my blue water guitar someday. Stan says, not for me, the V shape, and so yeah, I'm not for me as well, but. There's also this Explorer shape, that camo, that, hey, that's actually a James Hetfield signature. So there you go. There's James Hetfield guitar right there. That shape is known as the Explorer, I believe. What do you think of that shape, Stan? And do you like the camo on that? I do like, for me, I do kind of like military camo better than like hunting camo if I was going to go that route. But I'm not sure that I would get a guitar like that. But I could see you rocking that. I don't know if you like that, but, I could see you playing something like that. There's another one right there, the Gibson Explorer. I could maybe do that one, LOL. Yep. Yeah. Let's see here. There's another SG. Another PRS. There's a Schecter kind of similar to the one we were viewing earlier. I kind of want to see more Schecters. That's a cool color. I like that color. But I'd rather not have the SG shape. That V-neck right there is maybe a little more in line with the kind that I would want to get, but maybe a different color, maybe something like like a bold green or like almost like an 80s like pink or green or neon pink or something. There we go. That's the kind of guitar I'd like to get. That's an ESP right there. And I like the body of that guitar, love the shape of it, and I just love that watery look on it, man. That is so cool, It's even called Black Ocean. Like, that is a pretty guitar right there. So Stan, if you want to get me that for $1,400, you know, feel free to do it. But no, I'm just kidding. Like I said, to be honest, like, even if I had another guitar, I don't know that I would use it. It would actually be more of a inconvenience. But someday, like right now, it's not the time for it. But someday, I'd like to get a guitar like that. And even if I did, I don't know that it would be that one specifically. That does look like a really nice guitar right there. But I'm not sure. You know, I might get something like that from Schecter or Jackson or something like that. All right, we'll look at a few more, and then we're going to dive into another song here. I'm just going to kind of browse through. I'd like to see if I can find some favorite stuff here. So Stan says, like the shape, not the camo. So, yeah, I have to get that in another color. That's cool. There we go. There's a Schecter right there, and I like that purple. And again, just that kind of liquidy effect on it. So that's a cool one right there. Stan, is there a color preference for you when it comes to guitars, or does it depend? Like, does it all kind of matter? You know, like, it depends on the body and the type of guitar. Because for me, definitely the next guitar I would like to get would be like a good blue. Like, even that's a pretty cool blue right there. And that solid blue, that's pretty nice right there. But I think like a blue or a green, you know, would be cool. I like this one pretty good, but I don't like what they did here. I wish it was just blue on the edge there. That's a nice one. Just nice metallic blue. Yeah, one of these days I got to get me a blue guitar. But again, no time for that right now. There's sort of that same color. This one's from Schecter also, but it's that Explorer shape. But I'm actually not that big of a fan of that. I love that color on the other guitar, but I think I'd want to go something solid with that shape right there. There we go. That's a nice blue right there. And that one's pretty cool, kind of like the beach, you know. But that's almost a little too much. Again, I'd prefer something more like this, just a all-around blue. That's similar to mine. In fact, yeah, that's a Schecter C1. But that's a pretty sweet guitar right there. What else we got? That purple's pretty cool. I think I still like the one above earlier. We'll see if we can slip through two more of these, and then I'll dive into a song. I was looking at Hot Rod Yellow. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, nice, like, bold yellow guitar would be cool. I'm pretty sure Jackson makes some. There we go. There's another water one. Like, that's really pretty right there. I love the way that looks. That's a sweet-looking guitar. Stan, let me know, are you enjoying looking at these guitars? Are you kind of like, all right, this is nice, Quincy, but just play a song or let's talk about something, you know? So I'm not sure how this is going right now. I'm kind of enjoying sort of looking at these, but I don't know if you are too. Like that green right there, that's sweet. Again, I don't know if I'm crazy about that shape, but I do like that color. I like the edge there. That's pretty sweet. This purple, again, the purple and black, that looks nice. That one's pretty cool. Yeah, I got to be honest, like, as far as, like, just the look of guitars, the Schecters and the ESPs have been my favorite so far of what I've gone through. Now, I know Jackson makes some nice guitars. I've seen a few Jacksons on here. But so far, the Schecters and the ESPs have been my favorite. That almost looks like my guitar, but that's an ESP right there. Stan says, no, I love it. Hey, Adria's back. Yeah, that shape is wild. Cool. Yes, green. Yeah, I thought the green looked great. Adria, yeah, we're just scrolling through here, kind of talking these out. Let me know if you see something you like, you know. Here's a few Schecters right here. I like these two on the end. This one here has too much going on. But I kind of like that. That's a pretty cool kind of coloring right there. And then this one's sort of nice too. We'll check out one more page. Now, there's a few kind of odd shapes on here. Like we've seen some of the V shapes and like some of the Explorers or the SG. Adria, are you a fan of any of those shapes, or do you prefer, you know, kind of something a little more, I don't want to say traditional, but, you know, not as extreme, you know. Here's some PRSs right here. That one's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. It's kind of a cool Schecter. I kind of like that purple. There's a Jackson right there. So there's kind of like neon colors. You know, it's kind of like a neon purple. Like, so if they had that same guitar but in green or pink or blue, like that'd be pretty cool. But I mean, I like the purple as well. Here's another purple one. This one's pretty cool. Not as good as the one we saw earlier. Now I like that pretty cool. That Schecter, and I like the way those colors sort of fade into each other. So that's a pretty sweet guitar right there. I like that purple and black look. Here's another Jackson. And those look pretty cool together. Here's another blue one. Adria, I don't know if you called it earlier, but I love these blue ones that kind of look like water. They have that kind of liquidy effect, and the way like the edge is dark and they get lighter in the middle and stuff. Like, that's a really pretty guitar right there. And this one, this PRS right here, that like bold pink, that's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty sweet guitar right there. There's another green one. Wish we saw a few more greens on here. Might have to try that. Actually, I think we can filter out colors. We might have to do that in a moment here. So we'll get to the bottom of this page. I'll play a song, and then we'll go color searching. Yeah, I like that purple and black. This is actually a Brian Welch guitar, known as Head. He's one of the guitarists from the band Korn, which I don't listen to a whole lot of Korn, but Brian Welch is a really cool guy, and he put out some solo music a while back that was a really good album. There's another Schecter that's pretty cool. Adria says, yeah, that's cool. Too bright for me. Yeah, nice. Let me ask you guys, what is your color preference? You know, like if you were to pick, what are some colors you like on a guitar? Adria, what are some colors you like? Stan, what are some colors you like on a guitar? Red and black's always a good combo. I kind of like these gray ones, but again, I do like as much as, it's funny, like I love like gray and black like that. Like to me, it just looks so slick, you know? Like it always looks good. You can't go wrong with gray and black like that. But I don't know, I feel like the perfect guitar is one that kind of reflects your personality a little bit, you know? And so I want it to be, you know, a little showy, nothing like too extreme, but because I guess that's not my personality. But you know, I want something nice. Like this guitar, I think definitely reflects me pretty good because it's you know, it's unique enough that you don't see too many guitars that look like this, but it's not like so out there that it just looks wild and bizarre. So I definitely, when it comes to guitars, I like some color. You know, I like, you know, a good blue or green or purple or something. Yeah, Adria says doesn't listen to much Korn. I don't either, but Brian Welch, again, like I said, is a pretty cool guy, and he did some solo stuff that was quite nice. Adria says white, all blues, and black. Cool, cool. Stan, what are some colors that you like? And Adria did mention green earlier. The gradient ones with black look super cool. Yeah, those do look good. All right, well, what we're going to do here, let me double check that there is a color filter. Maybe there's not. Nope, there it is. Cool. So I'm going to play a song for you guys, and then we'll come back and we'll do a color filter and kind of search through, see what we can find, see what it narrows it down to. All right, so give me just a second here. I'm going to close that window. And I'm going to play another song for you. There we go. All right. So yeah, it's Adria, we've just been kind of looking at guitars for a little bit, and I don't know. You'll have to let me know if I know you kind of just got back with joining us, so you'll have to let me know if you're enjoying it too. Like, it doesn't feel like much. Like, we're just kind of looking at guitars, but I don't know. I love just kind of admiring them and stuff. And again, like, I'm totally content with my guitar. It's not like I need one right now, but I don't know. It's a beautiful, when it's made right, it's a beautiful instrument, you know, and there's something to appreciate about a well-crafted guitar. So that's all we're doing this stream. We're just appreciating some craftsmanship and some well-designed guitars. So anyway, here's another song. This one's called Brothers to the End. Hope you like it. Here we go. Unbreakable, bonded by our passion, undeniable, brothers till the very end. Just a bunch of outcasts, only meant for slaughter. But we will overcome this if we can band together. Look into my eyes, grab a hold of my hand. Remember who we are, brothers till the very end. Remember who we are. Never thought I'd be alone, always thought I'd have a home. One by one you fell away, Kalu stands from digging grave. What was once inseparable has become forgettable. Brothers till the very end, stripped of all its meaning. And now it's just me. And now it's just me. Distant fragments, shattered pieces. Like you. All right. So that's my backing track going off. All right. Stanley, let's see here, saying, I liked the color scheme on Rick's bass. Yeah. I was going to get that when I bought mine, but I went with the dark blue and black. After he passed, I didn't want to have a reminder up on stage so soon. And well, I definitely appreciate you being considerate of that. And yeah, I always thought, I mean, I don't know, I totally associate that bass with him. You know, whenever I see that coloring, it's, I think Rick, so that's for sure. But yellows, greens, and blues, yeah, those are cool. Adria says, great, thank you so much, I appreciate that. What are you playing right now, Stanley? I also like different woods. Yeah, so yeah, Stanley, if you want to answer that, what are you playing right now? I know he's got a couple guitars, I think, but he plays bass for our church band, and so I think you just have the one bass. Is that right? So one bass and a couple guitars or something. I think a bass, an acoustic guitar, and an electric guitar, something like that. You'll have to fill Adria in on that. Stanley says, I also like different woods. That's more acoustic though. I saw an awesome flat sawn acoustic with a maple type stain. Yeah, those can be pretty cool. Acoustics. Now it's kind of interesting. Yeah, for acoustics, I definitely am different than electrics. Electrics, I like something a little more bold, a little more personality to it. But acoustics, I mean, I don't know. You can't, simple's kind of better. Just a nice like tan wooden guitar. I mean, sometimes there's some pretty cool design. Like I do kind of like the dark wood sometimes, um, but it's but yeah, nothing too crazy with the acoustics and stuff. Um, Adria says, great job. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And yeah, Stanley, mostly playing bass for the church. And then, oh, that's wonderful. Yep, he's doing a great job at it too. Awesome. Well, we're going to dive into looking at a few more guitars here. So let's see. Let me go back and read what colors y'all said. Stan said yellow, green, and blue. I think we're all in agreement on blue. Adria said, where are we? I'm trying to find. White, blues, and black. So, okay, cool. So let's do. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to go in order of what I can remember. So we've got white. We've got. Oh, let me bring up the page again so you guys can see it. There we go. All right, so I just did white, but I'm going to do the others too. Got blue. And we'll do both blue, light and dark blue. Let's see, we've got, oh, need that to sort out, there we go. We'll go ahead and grab this green. Give this a second to load. All right, we'll go yellow. And then I'm just going to do 3 more. We'll do red, purple, and black. We'll be there, almost there. We got red. Yeah. Go. Red. Kind of surprised they're considering that yellow. It's more like I guess gold is kind of yellowish. But when I was thinking yellow, I mean, Stan, I don't know if that's what you had in mind, that kind of goldish, tannish yellow, or more of like a bold, like neon yellow, kind of like the like that. Like let's get one more black. All right. So now we've kind of filtered them out a little bit. And yeah, we'll dive through and see what we can find. Yeah, Stan says he's got one bass, an Epiphone Les Paul electric guitar, and a Yamaha acoustic guitar. Cool, cool. All right, let's scroll through here real quick, see what we can find. So these are pretty nice, but I'm looking for, like, we'll see. Like, these are fine, but I'm kind of, some of these we've seen. I like that green right there. That's pretty cool. Some of these we might have looked at already a little bit because it probably took us back to the beginning. I like that blue right there, that nice bold blue. All right. Yeah, it shouldn't take us as long to get through because we're skipping a few colors. Yeah, Stan says, nah, too much like gold. Adria says, I'm only 5'2", so the heavy ones are tough. My PRS is borderline too heavy. You could try, a semi hollow body guitar. There are electric guitars that, again, kind of have. They're not. These are solid body electrics, so the semi hollow body can be a bit lighter. Again, I like this sort of watery effect on this blue one here, but I actually don't like it as much on the SG body shape, so I'd prefer a different shape. This is, so Adria, I don't know if you were here earlier, but this guitar right here, this ESP, that's sort of like the next guitar I get is probably going to be something similar to that. I love the way that looks. Just looks like water. I like the silver, like chrome colored, features on it. That blue silver combination just looks really nice. So that's a really pretty guitar right there. Let's see here. And I was going to say, you might only be 5'2", but I don't think that actually has much to do with the weight of the guitar. So you could maybe just start working out and see if you can do some exercises with your guitar or something like that. Like put your strap on and just kind of start squatting with it, and that might be a good exercise, and then build up some strength so it's like, all right, I can handle this. I like this purple one too. This is like that's my favorite look there, that kind of liquidy look. So see how this purple one and this blue one are kind of similar? Like they're different colors, but they have a similar texture to their design, and I love the way that looks. Again, it's kind of similar to my guitar. My guitar has that kind of, liquidy sort of effect, but it's in red. So I definitely love the way that looks. Yep, they're beautiful. Yep. So, and yeah, Stanley makes a good point. The shape does determine the color choice because they can be different. Like again, I like this water effect, this blue, but I don't like it as much on this SG. But if I were to go with an SG, like we saw a black one earlier that looked pretty cool, and the classic cherry red, that looks like right there, that looks pretty good. That classic cherry red on that SG, they just pair up nicely. So it is kind of interesting how certain guitar colors, pair up differently. But I will say certain shapes like this one or like your standard, like these shapes here, I do think they're a little more versatile with the color that you go with for those. A few gray ones. Let's see here. That one's pretty cool. It's another ESP. And then there's that. I do like that solid look too. Like my first pick is kind of this, watery texture, but then I also really like just a solid, like almost a neon color, kind of like that. That's kind of a cool white one right there, that ESP. It was Angus Young, 5'1". I don't know if he's that short. Yeah, I like the purple too. Oh, Epiphone SG. It's very light, like 6.5 pounds. It's like what I was looking at when I get another one later. Yeah, I was just saying I have a cousin named Jill, and she was out shopping and found, like a lot of times, let me find one. This SG is a very popular shape, and there are a lot of knockoffs from other brands. Like if you get a legit one from Gibson, as you can see, it's going to be like $2,000, maybe even more, depending on what kind you get. But you can get like an Epiphone version for a much more affordable price, and there are other brands that use the same shape. And so she found one that was it was in like a, I'm trying to think, I don't know what you call it. It's just a local store, It wasn't like stocked in a music store, It was kind of almost like a thrift store in our town. And she found one that was only $75. But she texted me. She was like, "Hey, should I get this? Is this a good deal?" And I had to do a little research. I didn't want to say yes. I didn't want her to buy like a cheapo crap guitar. And it turned out it was a pretty solid instrument, so I told her that she could get it if she wanted to. But unfortunately, some other guy was looking at it by the time I texted her back, and then that guy ended up buying it, so, so she wasn't able to get that. Here's another interesting thing. So again, it is interesting how shape and color can kind of pair together, because I do think I like this purple color, but I'm not sure that I like it on this Explorer body. Like, I don't think I really care for that shape and that color paired together. I like that. Again, that's almost like the blue version of my guitar, except that's an ESP. There's a similar color to mine, that red right there. That's a Schecter. And even this sort of like beach look, that's kind of cool. I think I'd probably go with just the pure solid blue, but I do kind of like the way that looks right there. All right. Check out a few more of these. Hey, that's pretty much my guitar right there, just a different body. So mine's a Schecter Hellraiser Solo 6. This is the Schecter Hellraiser C1. So it's a very similar guitar to what I have. Looks like it's got a few extra knobs. Yeah, that mine, I don't have, I'm not sure what that is. That's got a few extra switches on it that mine doesn't have. And the bridge switch is down there, rather, where mine's up top here. But yeah, so but that's pretty much the same guitar I got. I actually like the way it looks with that body. I'm pleased with the body my guitar has, but I really like that shape as well. Yeah, I could agree with that. That's a good point. Yeah, that color doesn't match the attitude of that shape. That's a good point. It's kind of like, that's a good way to put it. Like this kind of guitar, which has sort of a similar coloring to like the purple and the blue that we were looking at earlier. It's a very elegant shape, you know? So those elegant colors kind of work nicely with that elegant shape. But if you're going to go something like extreme and edgy, like that Explorer shape, I think you need an extreme and edgy color. So again, you need like that bright neon color or something, you know, or something a little more versatile, like just a good old black or gray or something like that. That one's pretty cool. That purple right there. I like purple and black together. That's a really cool combination. Again, there's another blue one. That's beautiful. These white ones are pretty cool too. White can look pretty slick on a guitar. Now that's pretty cool. That green. Again, I still prefer a different shape, but I do really like that green. Like I'd love a guitar like mine, or like that in green would be really cool, or like this in green. That'd be really nice. Now, I will say this one works better. That purple, I think, works better for this shape. But still, like I think the green again is kind of pops a little more. Kind of works better with that shape. There's a couple purple ones that look nice. There's a pretty cool PRS right there. Some solid reds. Let's see. All right, the next time, if we ever do this again, that one's kind of similar to mine. I think that's an ESP, though. Yeah, that's an ESP. But that kind of has a similar design to my guitar. So if we ever do this again, if we ever check out instruments, like maybe next time we'll check out basses or something, I'll need to get some background music, like some shopping music or something, you know, just to play in the background. I feel like, you know, Wii music, like from the Nintendo Wii or something, like having that in the background, like dum 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 boom 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 boom, like while we're browsing, you know, like just nice kind of browse music. That's pretty cool. I like that bold purple right there, like just a good solid color. That looks nice, and that's cool. Like that's a cool looking guitar. That's only $370, you know. It's a Jackson. They make good stuff. There's another one, another Jackson. That one's $400. That's a sweet looking guitar right there. I feel like we've seen this. There must be some variations, but we've seen like 3 versions of this type of guitar. All right, we'll check out like 2 more lists, and then I'll play another song here. That's kind of cool, that pink there. Now we're getting some green. I wouldn't mind seeing some more green. That's kind of cool, that purple on that V-neck right there. And that one's all right. Something's a little empty here. That one's pretty sweet. Okay, that's that Brian Welch guitar. Yeah, we were pointing that one out earlier. These are kind of cool. What else we got? I kind of like that. Like, yeah, just that bold green like that. Like, that's pretty sweet. It's a Jackson right there. It's also pretty expensive. Slime green, yeah. There's another, that's a cool guitar, that blue one right there. It's like a lighter blue. Again, I love that water look. Can't say that enough. Can't express that enough. This one's kind of cool. It's kind of a, like turquoise. There's another Hellraiser right there. What else we got? There's another purple. That one's pretty cool. Not crazy about the pointy end right there on that body, but for the most part, that's a pretty sweet looking guitar. All right. That green's pretty cool. Should have put money green on that one. Yeah. Yeah, that green guitar. Yeah. Not crazy about that dark green. Again, if it's going to be like a solid color, I like something that pops, something bold, kind of like the green we saw earlier, or the, I think we saw a nice purple and a blue earlier. Like that kind of blue that just pops, like that's cool. That's Misha Mansour's guitar. So once again, Misha Mansour is the guitarist for Periphery. I was talking about that band earlier. But I'm actually using his strings right now. He's got a brand called Horizon Devices, and they make guitar pedals and accessories, and they make guitar strings. And I just tried. I'm trying them out right now. I'm using Horizon Devices strings, and I'm pretty pleased with them right now. They sound good. Adri says, "Nice. My uncle also plays and loves Schecter. Did I spell that wrong? Nope, that's right. Yep. SCHE. Yep, you've got that right. But that's cool. Yeah. I actually, me and a couple of my friends, we all ended up getting Schecters somehow. My friend Mark got the first Schecter, and then I think I got this one next, and then later somehow. We were starting I can't remember if it was when we were starting a band or if it was before we started a band, but my best friend, we found a Schecter that was available. I think it was used or something. I can't remember where we found it at, but like it was a really good deal. It's a sweet looking guitar, and I'm like, "Hey man, you looking for a guitar? This is a pretty good deal on one." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll get it." So all three of us had Schecters, and when we did have a band together, that was back in like the early 2010s. He and I both played Schecters, and Mark had a Schecter bass as well. So I'm a fan. They make great guitars. Again, I like these other brands too. I like Jackson and PRS and ESP. They make some pretty looking guitars too. But yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Schecter. There's another Jackson right there. That load, pretty cool. Like that's a cool yellow right there, and that yellow that works for that kind of body. I think I'd still prefer a different kind of body, but again for that kind of shape, that neon yellow looks pretty cool, and I kind of like guitars like that with those sort of poppy neon colors. I don't know, they're just fun looking guitars, like they're fun looking without being too like zany or like too extreme looking. I don't know. That's a pretty cool guitar. I would play that guitar. That's pretty cool. Here we go. That one's kind of cool. It's purple sparkle, almost kind of a purplish pinkish, almost like an amethyst kind of color. That's pretty neat looking. It's an ESP. And Stan said, yes, that's it. I guess you're referring to the yellow that we just saw. And yeah, I agree. That's a good color there. Now, I'm not crazy about this guitar right here, but that combo of pink and black, like those go so well together. It'd be nice to see some pink and black guitars because that neon pink with black is a good combination. So you could take that color combo and put it in a different application, and that would work really good for a guitar. Hey, Daniel's joining us. Good evening. About to head home from work. Sweet. We're just we're hanging out. We're checking out some guitars right now. Daniel, what are some of your favorite guitar brands? I know you're a Jackson guy, and you've got some pretty sweet Jacksons. But are there any other brands you're a fan of, or is that kind of, hey, that's my guitar except yellow and black? Let me see if I can go back and find it. Is it one of these Jackson X series right here, the Rhodes? I was just commenting on this one being pink and black, and that might actually be your guitar with the yellow. Am I remembering that correctly? But yeah, we put a filter on here, so right now we're checking out Jacksons, Schecters, ESPs, Gibsons, and PRSs. Those are kind of our collective favorite brands of guitars. I don't know if you would agree with that list or if there's something you'd want to add to it. And then we actually did a color filter also. So we're kind of checking out, what do we got? We got like black, red, blue, green, yellow, purple, and pink or something like that, Yes, X series. Cool. So yeah, Daniel, I believe, has this guitar, but in black and yellow. So sweet. Yeah, we're checking them out. I like that, pretty cool. That kind of fade transition, that from that dark to that lighter. That's pretty cool looking. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find Daniel. I'll share with you some of my favorites. We were kind of saying we like this neon yellow on this Explorer here. That's pretty cool. I like these solid, like, neon colors, so like that blue right there. Don't really like that body, but that pink on like a different body would be cool. Let me go back one, see if I can find probably my favorite guitar that we've seen so far. I'll see if I can find it. Adrian and Adria and Stanley have heard me talking about this, but I love this sort of watery look with guitars. I'm trying to see if I can find the one from earlier. Give me just a moment here. Yep, there's a few sweet ones here. We were saying we like that green right there. Yeah, like this one. I don't think this is the exact one, but that kind of watery look, that's what I love. I'd love to get a guitar like that. That's actually originally that's the type of guitar I wanted to get. I was looking at a Schecter that had kind of a similar look to that. It had that kind of watery blue look to it. That's actually, well, that's not my exact guitar, but that's sort of another version of my guitar. That's a Schecter Hellraiser. That's what mine is. But this is a C1 FRS. Mine is a Solo 6. So that's very similar to the guitar I actually have. Again, that like watery blue. Trying to see if I can find it. There's some purple ones on here that look pretty cool too. Like that solid purple. I like that, the purple and black. Man, it must be way back here. Stanley says, I like Jackson, Gibson, Rickenbacker. Yeah, they make some good stuff. Ibanez, Fender, Washburn, Taylor, and Yamaha. Yep, so definitely a few other brands we could have added on here. I've always liked the V, Explorer, Warlock, Jaguar, Kelly body styles, for example. Yeah, I know you've got the two V-necks. Do you have any other? I know you were mentioning, I've asked you before, I think you've got a few guitars, and I don't know if they're all different shapes, but I know you've got a couple different V-necks. This one right here, this might be my favorite that we've come across tonight. This is an ESP, but I just love the look of that guitar, that kind of watery blue with the silver and stuff. So originally, Schecter had a guitar that looked kind of similar to this. And originally that was the guitar I wanted to get. And then my friend Mark ended up getting one just like that. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, hey, check out this guitar I got. He's like, man, I liked it because the blue reminded me of water. And I was like, that's why I wanted it. So then I had to pick something different. So that's when I was in a Guitar Center years ago, I saw this one. And I was like, you know, if I had a second choice, it would be this one. You know, I love the way this guitar looks. And so sure enough, when I ended up going to get this guitar, I knew exactly what I wanted, and this was the one. But whatever my second guitar is going to be, I'd love to get kind of a water style guitar like that. You've got a Strat and acoustic. The other three are V style bodies. Gotcha. Yeah, I do like the Strat look. We saw a few of those on here. But I'm not sure what color you've got. When it comes to this sort of Strat look, I really like bold neon colors, like colors that pop. So I like the white pick guard, and then like a good green or pink or yellow or something like that, or like a blue like that. That's a good looking guitar right there. So, all right, we'll check out a couple more of these, and then I'll play another song for you guys. I'm skipping ahead to where we were, so we should be in some new territory now. Is that another? Yep, there's another Hellraiser right there. Very similar to my guitar. Again, there's another kind of blue watery one. I really like the way that looks. Yeah, that kind of Strat, that's a Nick Johnston guitar right there. So that's a pretty good looking guitar right there. And I like that color pretty good on that particular model. We were kind of commenting on that, Daniel. Sometimes, like, the color and the body have to work together, you know? Like, sometimes there's certain body, like we were saying, when it comes to the V styles, you almost need something more like bold or edgy with it, you know, for the coloring. If you try to do something a little too, like, elegant, it doesn't quite match the body, and vice versa, you know. A shape like this one, like this is just white, but that's sort of a very just kind of, you know, standard or very elegant, like, shape, you know, so there's a lot of colors that can kind of work kind of nice with that. And there's always certain colors, like black's pretty versatile, you know, that's going to work with pretty much anything. And certain shapes, like the classic Gibson shape, you know, that are pretty versatile, and they'll work with most colors. But it is kind of interesting how, you know, certain colors and certain shapes sort of complement each other. I've also always wanted a BC Rich. That's a nice guitar. My friend has a BC Mockingbird. Yeah, I do recall some BC Riches being pretty nice. That green's pretty cool right there. Again, I kind of like those sort of neon. If it were a little more neon, that's almost a little, I'm not sure. It's almost like a car green, you know? Let's see. Here's our first, like, tie-dye one. So I feel like that would work better on, like, a more extreme, you know, maybe like on a V-neck or something. That's kind of a cool red. I like how it's lighter and then it goes darker. Blood red. It's a pretty cool guitar. Let's see. Kind of like that green. I don't know if I'm crazy about the like the texture on it. But I would like to see a few more green guitars on here. Hopefully we're getting to some. Purple and black's always a good combo. That's not your guitar, is it? I feel like the yellow on your guitar was a little more neon than that. That's almost like a mustard yellow, unless it's just the screen or something. It is an X series. So. Yeah, that's true. For my yellow guitar, pink doesn't look great. Neither does green, including the colored fret markers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my guitar. Cool. Yep, so there's Daniel's guitar right there. So that's pretty sweet. What else we got? Again, it's almost sometimes less is more, you know? Like, I love that yellow, But I don't know if I'm crazy about these, like, tiger stripes or whatever. Now, maybe like tiger stripes on a more extreme shape, like a V-neck or an Explorer or something. But on this, just like a solid yellow probably would have been nice. And maybe somehow some white or a different, I'm not sure. But so I like the color, but I don't know if I'm crazy about the tiger stripes. Now, this is interesting. That's very similar to my guitar. It's a Schecter Solo 2. Mine is a Schecter Hellraiser Solo 6. So there are Schecter Hellraisers, and apparently there are Schecter Solos. Mine's like a blend of the two somehow. So, yeah, we'll see what the case is with that. 1 second here. All right, we'll check out one more page, and then I'll play. I think I got one more song for you guys. Let's see here. Daniel, have you had a pretty good week? Anything cool or eventful happen lately? One thing I was sharing earlier, before I did the stream, I was actually recording vocals for Erase Myself today. This week I've been working on that song. I've got, a few things. So first off, I got the guitars tracked, which, by the way, I kind of like this like dark red. That's pretty sweet. I got the guitars tracked this week, so I'm really glad I got that done. I changed my strings on Sunday, and I'm actually trying out Horizon Devices strings. So Horizon Devices is the brand from Misha Mansour from the band Periphery. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but Horizon Devices is kind of a guitar pedal, guitar accessory company made by Misha Mansour. And they have these strings, they call them progressive tension. So the way they work, the way the progressive tension works, so whenever you buy like a set of strings for a certain type of tuning, there's almost like a set gauge for those tunings already. And they just sort of question that, like, who came up with the gauges for that, and they sort of experimented to see if another combination would work. So they did a bunch of tests and basically came up with sort of their own setup. So I play in drop C, so this was the recommended set for drop C. So the lower strings are thicker, they're heavier, nice and tight, they tune nicely. But then the higher strings are a little bit thinner than a normal set that you would get. And so they're kind of nice for solos and string bending and that kind of thing. And they're a little, they take a little getting used to, because I'm used to playing just the whole set being heavy, and so kind of these higher strings are usually a little bit heavier with the strings I get. But, they're not too bad. I think with a little more playing, I'd probably get kind of comfortable with them. But when I tried them out, I was pretty pleased with the tone. Let's see if they'll do it justice. They have a nice, like, kind of metallic chunk to them that I like, so on the palm mutes. So I'm pretty pleased with the tone. Like, I think it sounds pretty good. And, nice and tight and chunky. And let's see. And then as far as tuning goes, like, whenever you record guitars, tuning can be pretty tedious process. Because guitars don't tune perfectly. And so when you're trying to, like, record a song, your tuner might say that the guitar is in tune, and then there's like a few notes that always like stick out, and it's pretty annoying. Now, thankfully, I've kind of learned how to tune my guitar to get it like close to sounding perfectly in tuned. Yeah, thankfully, in the recording process, I'd get it tuned, and then I'd record for a while, and then I'd go back to check the tuning and make sure like it hadn't gotten bumped or anything. And for the most part, it stayed in tune pretty good. So the recording process went well. I'm pretty pleased with the takes I got. Now I just got to kind of go through and kind of edit the guitars a little bit, and I'll have to mix them later. But then before this stream, I actually came here a little early so I could track vocals today. And normally I wouldn't track vocals before a stream, But it was just one of those things like I just had some availability to do it today, and I felt like if I got it done today, it would kind of keep me from getting behind schedule. So yeah, felt pretty good. Felt like I gave some pretty good vocal performances. Should be able to stitch together something that sounds good, and so I'm excited about that. So that's the next release coming, and it is a work in process. I got the guitars and the vocals done. Now I just have to what is it? Yeah, just gotta edit, mix, master, and then get ready to release it. So, nice. Daniel's off tomorrow. Gonna learn another solo from Randy. Awesome. That's cool. Well, if you post a video for that, definitely let me know, and I'll check it out. Daniel, what kind of strings do you typically use? I use D'Addario normally. Again, right now I'm using Horizon devices, and right now I like them, but I want to see how long they last. I don't know if they might change at some point. But I typically use D'Addarios, and let's see. Adria's saying, "Cool, love that." I put 52 or 1052s on my PRS. That sounds pretty similar to what I use. Maybe, well, mine might be a little heavier. Mine might be like 50. I'm not even sure. Actually, I know I've got it written down somewhere. Mine might be a little heavier than that. Now, Adria, I know you're still learning a little bit, so are you just currently playing in standard tuning? Do you know anything about drop tuning? Do you play in drop tuning at all, or are you just playing in the standard guitar tuning? Let me see if I can find, where's it at? Yeah, here we go. So usually, my kind of go-to strings are... Yeah, usually, okay, so I do use a little heavier. I usually, about 12 to 54s are what I typically use. So the low end are about 54s, the high end are 12s. So even 12 is kind of thick for the high string. But I think this set that I'm using, again, I think the lower end might be 54s, maybe even a little heavier than that. And then the high end might be closer to like 11 or 10 or something like that. Looks like Daniel is rocking the Ernie Balls Extra Slinky. Goes from 38 to 8. Oh, wow. But yeah, so you're playing in standard tuning, almost never playing drop tuning. So, yeah, that's quite a bit. Those strings are quite a bit lighter than what I typically use. So, I play some pretty heavy strings. And then when I first got my guitar, I played in drop D for a long time. But most of the bands that play, most of my music just kind of works better in drop C, especially like singing. Drop D was a little high, so being able to drop it down just kind of worked. So yeah, so I will say this. I think I had to look up like a gauge thing. Like I used to get the D'Addario EXL 115s. Can't remember that gauge, but that was for like, standard tuning and drop D. And so then I needed to use like a chart to figure out, okay, how do I maintain that tension, but going to a lower tuning? So, Stanley says, I play standard tuning, so yeah, Stanley plays in standard tuning. That makes sense. I do, I mostly play in drop C, but I will tune that. I tune the top string a lot. I'll go to standard D from time to time. Here's some more purple-looking guitars that are pretty cool. But yeah, I go back and forth from standard D and drop C. Those are the two main, and that's kind of cool. That yellow and black. But very nice. And I like that color too. That kind of sort of turquoise, like aqua burst. That's a nice one right there. There we go. That's a cool like neon green. I like the way that pops. Let's see. That dark blue and black's pretty cool. All right, so definitely checked out some cool guitars today. I'm going to go ahead and play another song for you guys, so just give me a moment here, and I'll get set up to do that. Daniel says, I play a lot of solos, so I need to be able to bend my strings. That makes sense, If that's kind of the interesting thing about these strings is I suppose they are designed to be a bit more versatile because I don't know. It's kind of funny. I would say, I don't know. Like, I've never really thought of myself as much of a lead player. Like, obviously, I play solos, but I'm definitely a songwriter first. And so the only reason I even put a solo in a song is if I feel like the song needs a solo, you know? Like, I don't force a solo to be in a song. But with that said, it's, I don't know. I guess I play a lot of riffs, and so it kind of makes sense that I need some heavier strings for that. And then whenever I do play a solo, I just kind of deal with the heavy strings. You know, I'm just like, all right, I guess I just got to muscle through, you know, picking these heavier strings. But again, with these new strings, these progressive strings, yeah, they're kind of heavier on the bottom and lighter on the top. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You got the nice heavy strings for your heavy riffing, and then some lighter strings for that enable those string bends and stuff like that. So they're pretty cool. 11 to 56, maybe that could be the case. And are you saying C sharp is that the key that you play in? So drop C sharp. So you might be tuned down a half step from standard tuning and then drop tuning, because that's usually what that would be. But yeah, cool. All right, well, I'm going to play another song for you guys. Give me just a moment here. Let me figure out what song that is. Actually, I think I got a couple more songs for you. I do, yep. Got a instrumental and then one more after that. So Stanley says, I have Elixir lights on my first acoustic. Oh, I think you spelled Elixir wrong, or it corrected you, but and Ray Price medium, all steel on my Yamaha. When it comes to acoustics, I don't know if you can beat Elixirs. I mean, those are some nice sounding strings, man. It's like you get a good set of Elixirs on a good acoustic guitar, and you're set up. I don't know if Daniel, do you have a preference on acoustic guitar strings? I don't know if you've tried Elixirs, but those are, I don't know, those are pretty nice strings. Because a lot of my brothers and my dad play acoustic guitar. My dad's got a Taylor, and my brother's got a Martin. And yeah, putting a good set of Elixirs on that is nice. Now, one thing I hadn't really checked, but it's kind of cool. One thing Elixirs do, they have different sets of strings depending on the tone you want. So you can go brighter or more mellow. But I think that's nice because you can sort of, you can get that to match your guitar. You know, like if your guitar is a little warm sounding, a little mellow sounding, you can, you know, get some brighter strings for that, or vice versa. If your guitar typically has a nice, bright, punchy sound, you can get some strings that are more mellow just to kind of balance it out. So D'Addario for acoustic, yeah. I would be, you know, I'd be down for trying out D'Addario as well, because I typically use D'Addarios for electric. So, you know, so I definitely like D'Addario, and I'm sure that their acoustics are good. But yeah, Elixir, they make some pretty good acoustic strings. So I'm going to put them on my Yamaha when the time comes. Cool. Sounds good. Very nice. All right. Let's see here. Got another song for you. So speaking of solos, this is an instrumental, and this is a tricky solo. So I'm going to try it. Hopefully I don't bomb it, but we'll see how it goes. Daniel, this one goes for you and all the other shredders out there. So this solo goes out to you. This song is called Hard Goodbyes. Let me try that again. I wasn't ready. I did not give myself enough time to get set up. Sorry about that. Sheesh. Man, my hand was not really cooperating. It was, I don't know if I was like sitting on it weird or something, but it just kind of felt like it wasn't wanting to open up, you know? It wasn't wanting to hit those notes. All right, now, if this was like a live show, I couldn't do this, but I kind of want some redemption on that solo, so I'm going to go back and try that solo again real quick. Let me see if I can find... All right, that's the end of the song. There's the solo right there. Sorry, I just want to see if I can, get through it better than I did. Get this guy working right. All right, take two. Let's see if it happens. I'll take it. Not awesome, but you know, better than that first attempt. That's a pretty tricky solo. If I haven't practiced that in a while, yeah, I suffer for it. So, all right, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Oh, awesome. My acoustic is in standard tuning. I have been relying on it to practice and learn on. Acoustic's actually great to learn on, especially if you're playing electric, because acoustics are typically heavier than electrics, and they're a little harder to fret, a little hard to press on. So acoustic's a great way to like build up some good finger strength, and then that way when you do switch to electric, it's like, wow, this is super easy in comparison. And I remember when I was first learning guitar, I didn't own an electric guitar, and my family, my dad and my siblings, they had acoustic guitars, and so even though I was a fan of rock music and metal and that kind of thing, I would just play on their acoustic guitar. So I was playing these rock songs on acoustic guitars, but at our church, there was an electric guitar there. I think it might have been my brother-in-law's. And so I was always looking forward to going to church because it was like, yes, when church is over, I can go play the electric guitar and I can hear what my songs sound like on an electric guitar with distortion, you know? Like I always just had to kind of imagine what it would sound like. Like I would write songs, like rock songs and riffs and stuff on the acoustic guitar. But then when I got to church and after service, I could play it on an electric guitar and hear that distortion and hear what my riff sounded like, and it was always so satisfying, like, oh yes, that sounds so good, you know. And so that was pretty nice. Had to deal with that for like a few years, but I think it helped. I think it helped me, you know, certainly making the transition. If anything, the one thing I kind of notice, like I almost play electric mostly now. Like I don't play acoustic as much. And so whenever I do pick up like my dad or my brother's acoustic, my hands almost feel a little wimpy in comparison. I don't think I'm used to having to fret that hard. So I might need to start playing acoustic a bit more just to kind of build up some of that hand strength again. Daniel says, awesome. Thank you. Stanley says, nice. Yay from Adria. Yeah. Daniel says, no worries, hard solo. Yeah, that's a pretty tough solo. One of the harder ones that I've written. Stan says, yes. Oh, man, that sounds amazing. Thank you, Adria. Appreciate that. Daniel says, thanks, Quincy. Going to head home. Y'all have a good night. Daniel, thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a good rest of the evening, rest of your week. And always good chatting with you, bud. Take care, and you have a good night. Yep, Daniel says you have a good one, man. So cool. Yep, appreciate y'all tuning in for sure. It is getting late, so I do think I'm going to wrap this up. I got one more song for you guys. I'll play that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I do appreciate y'all tuning in, and yeah, I think I got to get home and get me some dinner soon myself. So I got one more song for you, and then I think we're going to call that a night. But Stanley, Daniel, Adria, I appreciate you all tuning in. Adria, I'm actually not sure. I can't remember if you've been to streams before. I know you've commented on my videos a bit, and some of my other social media content. But either way, I know you're not, usually here for the live streams. So this last song goes out to you. I always appreciate whenever we do have new visitors or people who usually don't tune in as much. So appreciate having you in the chat, part of the live stream. So this is the last song. This one goes out to you. This is the one you've been waiting for. This one's called Waiting.
This is where we are. Where else have we been? Circling this room, round and round again. Look into my eyes, see if there's a change. Who I tried to be is not who I became. Everyone is gone, they found the way out. I will find it till any second now. But will you find me? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. It seems so long ago since we first began. Now that it's today, maybe this will end. Seeing no results has got me feeling down, but I'll be up again any second now. But will you find me? I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
man, I bombed that solo too. I hate to make excuses, but I do think it is the strings. Now, I'm not saying like it's the strings' fault. I'm saying I'm not used to these strings. They're a lot lighter, and what I've noticed is like I pick pretty hard, and so I almost feel like I'm missing the strings. Like I think I'm looking for something like heavy to pick, and I don't have to do that. So I have to, I've been tracking guitars this week, but the song I was playing didn't have a solo in it. So I don't think haven't really practiced my solo chops much. So sorry about that, man. That's another solo that was kind of rough. But I think the rest of the song was okay. Oh, yay. Wow. Stanley says, thanks for joining us. Have a great week and keep rocking. Aw, thanks. Yep. Yeah, definitely appreciate you tuning in. Again, I'm going to have one more shot at redemption. I'm going to try that solo one more time. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep saying, all right, let me play the solo again, but I'm going to try it. Let's see. All right, here we go. Take two. So yeah, I'll try to practice some solos this week so I can get used to these strings. We go. Almost. Oh my gosh. I'm done. Yeah, they do feel a little different. And, not bad, just different, And like I said, these strings are a lot lighter than what I'm used to, and I haven't done a whole lot of solo playing since I put these strings on. So I think that's the issue there. So I'll have to spend some time playing some solos on this guitar or with these strings and try to get used to that. So, but there we go. So anyway. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Always appreciate you all watching. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. If anyone watching now or on the replay, if you'd like to support me, there's a link in the description to a virtual tip jar, and I certainly appreciate anything you can provide. If you don't have the financial means to support me, my biggest goal right now is building an audience. So you can help me do that by, one, signing up for my email list. Again, there's a link in the description, and signing up for my email list helps me to keep you notified whenever I release a new song, whenever I have new videos out, live streams, merchandise eventually, stuff like that. So join my email list, and if you could help me by sharing my content, share my music, invite people to the streams, like my videos, subscribe to the channel, just sharing mainly sharing my music, just so more people can hear my songs, and we can kind of build this audience together. So if you could help me do that, I certainly appreciate that. And again, guys, I can never express it enough, but those of you who spend time with me, I really do enjoy it. Hopefully y'all had fun just kind of checking out some guitars today, just kind of admiring them. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful evening or morning, afternoon, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Until next time. Thank you, Adria. Appreciate that. That song's called Waiting, and unfortunately, you'll have to wait a little bit till I release that song, but I am going to release that song later this year, so just wait a little longer. See y'all later.